Aloha, I'm Mike Story with Hawaii Health at Work Alliance. Thank you for joining us and our WorkWell videos today. Danny Kim, the founder of DK Leadership Group and creator of the Aloha Journal, will share simple and effective tools to build more gratitude, emotional health, and connection through journaling. We hope you enjoy.
Hi, my name is Danny. I am the creator of the Aloha Journal. And what I wanted to do today was share how journaling can have a positive impact if you use it as a tool to help out with your emotional health, your resiliency, and even your connections and being aligned with your values. So a little background about myself. In 2018, I had gone through a very, very challenging part of my life where I was forced to pause and do some inner work. So luckily, through a lot of supporting friends and programs and therapy, I was able to do that work. And so one of the tools that I used was journaling. And I had been off and on with journaling for a long time, and I would start it and then I would stop it. And what I realized is that I needed something that I could actually do on a daily basis to create a practice and a habit. So I created my own journal, utilizing all of the best practices that I learned from positive psychology and different programs that I took and different mentors and teachers that I had. And I put it in this simple Aloha Journal. So let's jump right into it. The first part of the journal is the I am statement. I think that's such a profound statement because what it does is it sets forth all of your positive intentions for the day. And so I really believe that the brain is such an efficient tool that it wants to keep us safe. So anything that we feed it, it's going to actually try to validate it. So if I wake up in the morning and I say that I am tired, or I am bored, or I'm lonely, or I'm hungry, or I'm broke, the brain's going to think of every reason why that's true because, again, it wants to validate you. So if you shifted that mindset and instead came up with a positive intention and said something like, I am creative, I am joyful, I am brave, I am determined, I am kind, then the brain will also look for reasons why that's true as well. So after you set your positive intention, the next thing that you want to do is you want to answer the question, what do I appreciate about me? Sometimes that can be a hard question to answer. I know it was for me because oftentimes in life, the tendency is for us to look at things that's going wrong. You know, I'm not good enough, or I don't look a certain way, or my life is bad compared to the folks that I see on social media. I mean, you know that what is being posted is probably their best lives, but subconsciously you want to continue to do better. So you don't actually look at the things that you appreciate about yourself. So start off small. Start off by saying like, you know, I appreciate that I was able to wake up this morning, or I have two eyes and I was able to open them up and I'm able to breathe. So those small things, if we start to keep track of them, right? It allows us to connect and appreciate other people, right? When we appreciate ourselves, and the things that happen in our life start to appreciate as well. Next question is the gratitude question. What are two things that you're grateful for? And if you can continue that practice, you'll have amazing benefits that all the researchers point to. Things like people that are grateful end up being able to sleep more. They're more generous, they're happier, they have better physical health. One of the things about gratitude is, you know, the brain cannot distinguish between an event that's a real event or something that's imagined. It also cannot tell the difference between something that happened 2 minutes ago or 20 years ago. So think about something that you're grateful for and try to put as much feeling into it as possible. Think of a real event. So for me, an event that I like to use as an example is I have two daughters, 17 and 14. And my older daughter, I used to be able to put my arm around her And when she turned 16, that became really weird. So when I tried to do it, she would quickly wipe it off, brush me off, and I could no longer do it. But my 14-year-old, I'm still able to do it. So the other day, I put my arm around her and I wrote in my journal, I'm grateful that I'm still able to put my arm around Kylie. And that brings me joy. And so when I write it, what's happening is that event is happening in my brain. So I write it, I read it, the pathway in my brain is starting to get deeper and deeper. And I share it with you so the event actually happens again, but it not only happens again for me, but it's actually happening for you. And that's how you can see the greatest benefit with gratitude. The next question is, what am I excited about for the day? Now, it's easy when you start to get in a rut that everything else seems to be not too good. Like you could look at your job as something my job is boring. But now you could look at your job as like, wow, I'm grateful that I have a job. Or you could look at, staying at home is getting boring. It's horrible, but your whole life isn't horrible. There is one thing, at least one thing that you can get excited about. And that's important to set your mind towards it. So you start off with something small, things like, I'm excited about drinking my first cup of coffee or being able to walk outside. The next question I like to call the reality resiliency question is, what's a challenging situation I might face today? But then how does my best self show up for it? So in life, there's definitely going to be challenging situations. But if you tap into your best self, the self that you want to imagine yourself being shown to the rest of the world, the self, your higher self, the one that you want to tap into, that will help you be more resilient. So for example, for me, it might be a challenging situation I might have is shooting this video today. That's not something that I do often. In fact, it's the first time I've ever done something like this. But my best self is going to be, show up open and hopefully be authentic. So that's the resiliency question. The next question is the feelings question, which is also very, very important. Many studies will show that if you are able to identify and name your feelings, the better you will be able to actually allow that feeling to flow through you. So they even say, if you can name it, you can tame it. So maybe I'm feeling anxious. And where am I feeling it? I'm feeling it in my stomach. So what I do is I breathe into that feeling of anxiousness. And then I know that it'll actually eventually go through. So what do I need? I need to be calm in this moment. So learn to articulate your feelings. Most times, when people ask, how are you feeling? How are you doing? It's like, oh, I'm doing good or okay. But if you can learn to put some vocabulary around how you're really feeling, maybe it's joyful or happy or optimistic or real feelings like, oh, I'm actually sad or I'm uncertain or I'm worried. Those things all point out that you're human. And it gives you permission to feel. Next question, which is the question I really resonate with every day because it changes every day, and those are the values of aloha. These are the values that Auntie Pilahipaki, who came up with the aloha acronym, shared with Pono Shim, and Pono had shared it with his students. One of the things they say about the Hawaiian words is they have multiple meanings. So there's hidden meanings behind this. And one of the great things about going through this introspective journey is it starts to unlock meanings for you. So the first word, akahai, which means kindness or grace, to be expressed with tenderness, is how can you be kind to yourself? How can you express kindness to other people without expecting anything, without expecting nothing in return? You just do it out of the goodness of your heart. Next one, lokahi, which means unity or unbrokenness, to be expressed with harmony. What that really means to me is beyond this connection that we have is what is the connection that I have with myself coming from a place of wholeness, if you're unbroken. Next one, olu olu, which is agreeable or being gentle, to be expressed with pleasantness, is how do we interact with other people? Not in a way where we're going to be a pushover or only saying good things, but saying things that people need to hear because you care for them. Next one would be ha'a ha'a, which is humility or being empty. One of the things with being empty to me is this is how, if we show up without coming with all of the stuff that we have inside and we're interacting with somebody, if we can be empty of that, then we can truly feel what another person is trying to communicate with us beyond the words, beyond what they're showing in their body language. And that's when you can tap into true empathy. Next value, ahanui, which is patience, waiting for the moment, perseverance. You can look at as mindfulness, is how are you actually showing up and thinking and feeling in the present moment without any judgment. So all of those values kind of intertwine with each other. You cannot have one without the other. And so as you're going through this journey, you'll focus in on, for the next 5 weeks, one value at a time. And you'll have prompting words. Like if it's a hanui and you're dealing with patience, it might be as like, how can I be more patient with myself today? Next day, it could be, how can I be more patient with others? Next day, it could be, how can I respond versus react today? And what you'll do is at the end of the week, you'll notate how that value is showing up in your life. So that's the morning part. I know it sounds like a lot, but as you do it every day, it should only take no more than 5 minutes to do. The next page, you'll have a new quote every day, and then you'll have a to-do list. And oftentimes people like to-do lists because they feel like they're getting things accomplished when you start checking things off. And sometimes it's worded like, hey, what are the critical things that you must do today? I like the word, what are the things that you get to do today? Because it shifts that vocabulary when you use from have to get. You look at things as like a gift. And then at the end of the day, there's 3 questions. How did you live your value of aloha today? Second question is, what's a situation that you handled well? And the third is, what's something new that you learned today? And I encourage people to do this preferably before you go to sleep. Because what happens is your subconscious mind will remember the last thing you put in there before you go to sleep. And if you're watching the news on your phone, you're being fed all of these messages of fear. If you're looking at social media, you're looking at all of these messages of, I'm not good enough. But if you're looking at the things that you accomplished today where you're aligned with your values, when you go to sleep, and when you wake up in the morning, you start off positive again, that's the cycle that's going to start building your emotional health. So a couple of tips on how to make this like a habit is, one, put your journal in a place where you're going to see it the first thing you wake up. The second one is set a goal for yourself. Like, not that you're going to journal every day. It might be that way if you're in a challenge, but maybe a few times a week. That's good enough. I think doing the journal where you're very intentional about it and you're putting your feelings in it is more important than checking off the box. And then finally, find an accountability partner, somebody that's going to go on this journey with you. That to me is the most important part. How you get through anything in life is not by yourself, but you're always going through this journey with other people. So if you pick an accountability partner for the next 5 weeks, just ask at the end of the day or once a week, how is Aloha showing up for you this week? Or it could be like, what are you grateful for this week? Or what's a challenging situation that you had to face and how did you overcome it? What you'll find is that's going to be healing medicine, not only for you because your voice is being heard, but you would be amazed at the medicine that's happening for the other person, because they're going to find out that their journey is not being taken on alone. You know, some tips on how to do it with your own family. You know, people are journaling. This journal can work out with people as early as, you know, second, third grade. One of the things, and just start off small. So at our home, we ask our kids every day, you know, at breakfast is, hey, what is one thing that you appreciate about yourself? What's the one thing you're grateful for? And what's a value of aloha that you're going to try to accomplish today? And at the end of the day, you know, we might ask, you know, how did you live aloha today? Or it could be, you know, what did you see today or experience that was beautiful? Maybe it's a poem you read. Maybe it was a TikTok video. Maybe it was, you know, something that you were able to experience in nature. So let's allow this time to do some inner work. We are all that shiny car that we want to maintain. But know that you're that car that's not only shiny on the outside, but shiny on the inside as well. Take care until we meet again. Aloha.
Hawaii Health at Work Alliance, a UHA company, would like to thank you for watching this edition of our Work Well video series. For more information about Danny Kim and the Aloha Journal, go to thealohajournal.com. To access more Work Well videos and expert information about workplace wellness, please visit hhawa.com.